This is our review of the Peppermint movie. Hey, Sean, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, Chris? I'm very pleasantly surprised.
I am too. Hey, well, first off, I got to say thanks to the fact that we are now semi-officially official. This was the first screening that we were
Had press credentials,
where we officially are part of the media elite with the press pass. So we got to skip the line. It felt great.
We got to sit in the RSVP section, baby. Woo!
Yeah, with our pink wristbands, representing all types of movements, movements to the front of the line. So it was pretty
like,
awesome.
what line? We didn't even have to stand in line for the first time.
The first time in forever. But we got to see Peppermint, and I gotta say, overall, I'm not gonna do a spoilers. I'm not, because I really feel like this is going to be a mixed bag. Like, critics might not give it too much of a. This is not going to be in the Oscars anytime soon, but I think a lot of people will like it, the general audience. So I'm going to do a no spoilers because I want as many people to see this as possible. But overall,
we can tit and tat around the plot, but we don't want to give major plot spoilers.
I'll tit, you tat, and then we'll go for it. Well, so let's start off with overall. What did you think about the movie in general?
I went in with like zero expectations. I saw the trailer and I was like, meh. And it, like, once the movie starts rolling, it's like there's somebody going, oh, like every 2 or 3 minutes in the movie, someone's screaming in the theater. I was really surprised. I don't even know where to begin.
I agree. I think this is one of those movies where it's a lot of fun to be with a large audience. If you get into a packed theater, and especially as long
there's
as
always that lady behind us.
Yeah, that one. We had one lady, and she was starting to get a little bit.
You get him, girl.
But even that was kind of good because you could. The audience was getting along with the movie and feeding like you said, feeding off of it. That was good for this movie. So if you got a good crowd with you, you'll really enjoy this movie even more.
Yeah, this was laced with violence and a lot of execution scenes in it. And every time there was a nasty kill, and everybody was, and it was every couple of minutes. And the body count, this is beware. This is definitely not children appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of splattage and carnage.
Called it. What did you call it? You said it was Jane.
This is Jane Wick. This is Jane Wick. She execute. I knew she. Well, by watching the trailer, guys, she's gonna pop some guys, but.
Mm-hmm. Check some.
I couldn't. Yeah, man, the body count in this movie when it starts rolling, I was like, Jesus!
I didn't expect that. I knew that she was going to go for the people that killed her family, but she went after some bodies.
Jesus, she
dropped
killed
some
so many dudes in this movie, and a lot of them are brutal, up close from far away. We got rifles, shotguns, handguns, knives, explosives, det cord,
headshots, knees. The whole body, head, shoulders, knees, and toes shots.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes carnage. Yes.
That should have been the review we should have wrote down. This is head, shoulders, knees, and toes carnage. But like I remember when we were watching the film, we were talking about this after when we were driving home. We both agreed that the acting started off slow, and I was worried, like you were worried, that the acting was going to be so campy because it started off with so many bad lines, like that one cop that was like after when how it all is when in a revenge movie when the cops show up to pick up the piece, and they're like. And I give the one spoiler I'll give away is when
it's in the trailer. We know.
Goes, well, the one thing the cop says, like what was that line that he said that I hated when the cop was like,
"We got a job to do, rookie.
This shit ain't easy.
Never gets easy, especially when it's a kid.
When it's kids."
But
I was like, "Oh God, here we go."
They could have just reshot. Even use the same dialogue, but just like, all right, let's do that again a little better. Just give me better.
And I wanted to, I want to revisit this again because I'm looking at my notes and I'm thinking I can't say this without giving away a spoiler. So I'm gonna save this for. We can do a semi-spoiler review later on. I'm gonna write myself a note.
We can warn you if there's a big spoiler coming, and you skip it or whatever.
Or we can talk about a few spoilers at the end, and we'll give people the option to not listen to it. But I was there. I was right there with you with the acting. I was worried about that. There was a big conversation that me and you had about the music, the undertone, and the atmosphere in this movie. So you didn't like? Did you not like the music at all? What was your thoughts on overall?
It was so up and down. It wasn't. Like there were certain scenes in the movie, guys, where it's big chaotic gunshots and it sounds like you're in a club.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Like John Wick did it good.
But
Blade did it good.
But Blade did it good. I will give you that. And John Wick had its moments. And there were I don't know. Some parts I did like, in other parts it was just so up and down.
With this movie, the music didn't fit. A lot of the music that they chose, it made sense, but it still didn't fit. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like there's cartels in the movie, and so they use like gangster cartel rap infused with techno music in certain scenes, and your ears are like, what the hell is that? But then after a while, you just get into the carnage, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and you just drown it out, and it's awesome. But at first, it is a little.
No, weird. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right. And I remember thinking that the like a lot of the music that they chose for these scenes were so I wouldn't say bad because that's subjective. For me, bad. That I stopped listening to for that and just started focusing. Then I just had to focus on the story, and which started getting better and better as it progressed. So action wise. Like I said, this isn't going to be like an Oscar contender, and like it's not meant to be, but but a lot of the action in it, what you go for, that popcorn flavor,
you're gonna get that. You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it. We should make that a thing: head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
I'm telling you, man. Because the way they do this, and I think I've said this to Chris here. It's kind of like a turbo boosted car engine. It's a slow wind up when you punch on it. And then once it engages and it slings off, the movie just takes off. But the moment right before shit goes down, you know it's coming because they're giving you little details about, and we'll tell you later.
Yeah. When we do the spoiler side of it, yeah.
The sad part of this movie, is coming, and they drag it out well so that you're just like waiting for it to happen. And I was kind of I knew it was going to happen, but I was honestly, because of the particulars of this particular event, I was dreading it. Like I was like, I know it's about to go down, but I don't really know if I want to see this.
Yeah, a lot of it was predictable. I'll give it that too. It was a paint by numbers revenge tale.
But it was effective.
But it was effective. You're right.
You immediately, when it goes down and you see your character's motivation behind the entire, because it does the movie starts out with in the present time and then does the Tarantino thing where it jumps back in time to see where it's going and then jumps back into present time again. So at first you're like, who is this person?
Know what? Can I say something about that? When that was right at the beginning too. I didn't think that was necessary. I honestly I could have lived without that. That totally
seemed kind of confusing if you're not used to movies doing that.
Because I remember you were thinking, because I remember I sat down there when I came in, I sat down and right when it was started, and I remember you whispering to yourself, "Oh, that's not what you think is happening in that vehicle." I won't spoil it, and then it turned out to be something else happening in that vehicle, and I was like, yeah. I remember thinking, that wasn't necessary. They could have put that in the timeline in the chronological order, but putting something that happened in the middle into the beginning for this movie, to me, it wasn't necessary. But it still worked. But
I think in their mind, to necessitate the violence kicking right off to get your attention, they had to do that, and then they slowed it back down.
Like, you think they were trying to like set a tone? This is how hardcore.
I think they were afraid they were going to make it like, and then it goes off. But yeah, you do get a little right off the bat.
They were like trying to say, look, this is not a lecture.
Yeah, and you're talking about the car in the parking lot. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
I know
something's going on here, and you guys will know exactly. They do this really long camera drawing in where they're getting closer and closer to this car, and all of a sudden you start to notice something about the car, and you're like,
that's
nah. And then I fucking knew it. So.
But yeah, so Sean called it. I know another topic we talked about in the ride home. You said the title threw you off. You didn't. The title, there was two references of why this movie is called what it's called, but it's still stupid. To me did not make any sense. It didn't fit. It was not necessary. and I'll bring up a little bit more why on it later because I can't say much without saying a spoiler on it, but this is the spoiler-free half of it.
I'll tell you my title at the end. I won't say it until the end, guys, because it does reference.
Sean says he has a better title name for it.
I think so. If you guys have a title, put it in the box after you see it.
What would you have called this movie? I can't talk about that without a spoiler. What else? Let me make sure we run down everything else. I don't even know why I wrote that down. So overall, I think even though it sounds like I'm like shitting on this movie, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just pointing out the reasons that it was.
It's not a perfect movie.
It's not a perfect. Yeah, it's not a
but
perfect.
It's way
movie,
better than you think it's going to be.
It's fun. It's more fun than it has any business being. I mean,
yes.
You're thinking after Elektra, you're thinking that Jennifer Gardner probably shouldn't lead any action movies anymore. But I think she even learned that lesson. Like, no, I'm not. I'm coming away like Ben Affleck, like her husband.
Fantastic.
Like he came from Daredevil, and people would kind of criticize that, to one of the best Batmans that we've ever had, action-wise. And I think she followed the same formula. She came from Elektra, and after that got critically panned. She's like, no, I got to redeem myself. I got to show people that I can be a badass. Because she went through some real good training and
man,
to train
she
for
was
Elektra,
all jacked up.
And she was still jacked up for the.
She had the moves down, and it was believable in the hand-to-hand combat where she's like dislocating people. It was incredible.
It was worthy to me. It was worthy of like Angelina Jolie's like Salt. It was worthy of what's her name that was in Mad Max Fury Road.
Furiosa.
Charlize
Theron.
Charlize Theron's in that other assassin movie that she was in recently.
Yes, the blonde,
Atomic Blonde. It was it was on that. It was in that vein of action for a female. So I think, hey, there's your movie right there: Salt, Atomic Blonde, and now Peppermint. There's some three weird names right there: Salt, Blonde, Peppermint. Boom! There's your title.
Blonde, Salt, Peppermint.
Avengers right there, man. Salt, Blonde, Peppermint. Isn't that a badass title? Salt, Blonde, Peppermint.
And I think this, and people will be 50-50 on this with me. I had heard good things because we're us movie nerds. Maybe we watch more movies than the average Joe might watch, but so we know people who watch other movies. Even if we don't catch it, somebody we know has watched it. And I had heard good things about Atomic Blonde. I heard that it was an 80s period piece, which for me is one of those, ooh, that automatically piques my interest because I'm an 80s kid. Chris is an 80s kid. But just like that, I was very pleasantly surprised by this movie
on how they executed the action.
Yeah.
What would you think about that? Let's if we do like a little sidebar for the review. What would you think about that? Like everybody always with these assassin movies always thinks about John Wick and making does this fit in the John Wick universe? I'm not gonna go there with this. I'm gonna with my little joke a minute ago. How would you feel about putting those three characters together? Angelina Jolie's Salt, Charlize Theron's Peppermint. Charlize Theron's Atomic Blonde, and now Jennifer Gardner's Peppermint. Do these three characters fit? I know the first two fit more than Peppermint does, but I think all three of these characters would make a badass movie. And what do you think about my little title, Salt, Blonde, Peppermint?
Salt, Blonde, Peppermint. There you go. I think that
I feel like that would work.
I do. I think that. And I can't say that. I was gonna say something, but I can't say something without spoiling something.
Without spoiling it, well,
but yeah, I do think that they theoretically can meld together into a plot of Charlie's Angels from Hell.
It would be
Hell's Angels.
Ooh, there you go. Forget Salt, Blonde, Peppermint. Hell's Angels. That's a way better title. Put it in a box and tell me whose title you like better, Sean's or mine. But let's go. All right, let's move on to the. Well, we gave pretty much what we thought, and so go check it out, guys. If you haven't seen it, if you're on the fence of seeing it, you will have fun with this movie. I think this movie is a popcorn getter. You'll enjoy what you see from an action point of view. If you're an action junkie, you won't be disappointed. Jennifer delivers on the action side of it. Everything else is pretty campy. Yeah, the dialogue can get a little cheesy, but overall, Sean, am I alone in that? You think?
No, I agree, and I'm going to tell these people exactly what I wrote on my little press card. We've got epic combat scenes boosted by a somber backstory. And it's an easy pick for a franchise.
Yeah, easy. And I simply said, and you could take this as a dig at or a compliment. I'm okay either way. I just pretty much called it like this is Punisher meets Elektra. It was like to me it was like a redemption of what was going on.
It
with
was like a female
Elektra.
Punisher movie. It actually,
that's
and when
exactly
you guys see it,
this is punishment.
It's like Jane Punisher Wick or
Yeah.
something.
I don't even know how to call it, but everything that Elektra should have been, that's what Peppermint is, and I think that's a good.
Has
thing.
a little heart in this movie too.
Yeah, it does. But let's go into a little bit of spoilers territories, guys. So, all right, now if you haven't seen the movie, I know we got an embargo on this, and this is coming out just before the movie. Before some of you guys are about to see the movie, but so if you hadn't seen the movie yet, or if you and you don't want to be spoiled, stop right now, because from this point on, we're gonna give a few spoilers for this review. So come back and talk about it with us later. But 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. Here we go. All right, so Sean, let's talk about what you were getting at that you didn't want to. I think we were talking about, what was it, the daughter?
Yes.
Or the title?
Yeah. So you may be going in, and I was wondering the same thing. Why are they calling this movie Peppermint? But then there's a scene where the main character
likes peppermint, right? Like
she likes peppermint ice cream, and
she's a Girl Scout, and she want the peppermint cookies.
Yes,
that was one. And then at the carnival, right before she was killed,
flavored ice cream,
peppermint flavor. She was all about peppermint.
And there's some funny and extremely heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie. And for Chris, this had to have been really rough because he's got a daughter. Not much age difference. It's got to be rough seeing there, because there's a really horrible scene in this movie where the little girl of the main actor, the main gets shot down.
And we even criticized about it as a parent. Like, what do you do when you most parents?
Yeah, it's like he lifts her up in front of the bullets.
Yeah. You knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to get.
He was trying to pick her up and run, but it looks like he used her as a shield.
But by the time he grabbed her, that's when I think the fatal bullet hit him, and it looked like was it Nino Brown from what was that movie from back in the day with Wesley Snipes? When he picked up the little girl and used her as a bulletproof vest. That's how it looked to me, and that's all I could think about. Like, no, dude, stop.
And they kind of like really slowly pace the kill scene, and it's coming.
Mm-hmm. But that was when that cheesy line came out. It never gets easier.
Never gets easier, especially when it's a kid.
Open and shut case, Johnson.
God, I really wish they had chosen somebody else. There's a dirty cop in the movie, and you don't realize till the very end, because he acts like he's like this righteous police officer, and you think his older partner is a dirty one, and they do that. They fuck with you a little bit like that, so they lead you on a fairy tale, and then it flips at the end, and you're like, son of a bitch, I didn't see that, and I didn't see that coming. I did think that the other guy was crooked, and the good cop was actually kind of righteous, but in fact it was the opposite, and he was a real shitbag.
The only problem I had with it is that it surprised me, but even when it was revealed, it wasn't that shocking.
He didn't have much involvement in the movie. You don't really care about what happens to that cop.
Yeah, exactly. Because even though, and I think that's another thing that they failed at. You were supposed to care when he flipped, because it really looked like he was trying to help her, or trying to be
for 5 minutes.
But and then when that cop reveals himself, and then the next cop
shot the cop.
Chief, when the chief chose to be the one who really has her now as a support of her, it didn't make any sense. It was like, you look like you really were trying to arrest her this whole time. Now you're on her side. It made more sense for the other. It's like you don't care for these cops, like even the good ones. So it was kind of weird. So they could have did a better job of making us like that. If they were going to pull the rug from under us, they could have did a better job at making us like him more. Everything kind of threw off. I mean, him getting involved with that FBI agent, that maybe they should have dove into that, humanizing him a little bit more. Maybe he shouldn't have had that mustache. I don't know what it was about him that I didn't like.
Yeah, they imply that he likes this FBI agent, then he just kills her. I was like, yeah, all right, well,
he said he didn't like her, so he wasn't lying. So I give him that. He was honest.
Like, I'm sorry. Bam. She's like, what?
Can I mention while we're still in the spoilers territory of it, talking about how the movie title you didn't like it, it didn't make any sense.
No, I thought the title.
What didn't make sense to me was the fact that she kept seeing her daughter, and not at all would she ever see her husband. I'm wondering, like, because of while she was on her revenge mentality, she was only focused on avenging her daughter. she seemed like she forgave. It was good that she heard that her husband didn't.
She kind of blamed him a little bit.
She still, I feel like she still blamed him for putting them in that
maybe maybe unconsciously
unconscious. It had to be unconscious because she was only focused on avenging her daughter, not my family, my daughter. It was only her daughter because I think she still kind of blamed. Speaking about blame, how about that punch scene, man? Oh my God, you guys! I know you guys love that. Finally knocked that.
There's a woman in the movie who
well, they know that at this point they've seen it.
Yeah, so there's a woman in this movie who has another little girl who's involved with their Girl Scout troop in the beginning of the movie.
Acting like a dill hole.
Yeah, and basically gets them kicked out. And there's a scene where, because they get into an altercation in a parking lot about selling cookies. Yeah, don't be selling cookies on my turf. And she tells her basically go to hell. We can sell where we want. And then it's her daughter, the Peppermint girl's birthday. But this bitch they got into it with, she's rich, and so she sabotages the little girl's birthday party, and nobody shows up, and it's like,
that only directive of the whole movie was you should have punched her. That's all
but then
you gotta do, Mom.
But then there's a scene where she opens the door, and you see a blonde bitch. She's like, Riley, and just this fist, like Hadouken fist. It looked like she caved her head in. It hit her so hard, and everybody was like, "Yes!"
Yeah, she put every inch of her amount of her power into that punch. And everybody loved that one. I remember I was thinking how weird it was that even in that situation, she's nuts. She's been killing.
Still talking shit.
And she's still talking shit. It reminded me of The Dark Knight. So you think that this man is a billionaire who's secretly, punches bad guys in the face, and your plan is to talk shit to this person?
Your plan is to blackmail this person?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Morgan Freeman voice. So this woman has been killing members of the cartel. She's just knocked you out, ties you up, and your plan is to insult.
She's got her tied to a chair with a broken nose and bleeding mouth, and Jennifer Garner is asking her questions and like implies that, oh, I guess your husband left you, and she's like, fuck you. And it's like, exactly, you would not say that shit to her face.
Not in real life. Not after knowing what she's been doing. No way I would have talked to her. Yeah, I would have been just apologizing the whole time. Don't give me.
Then she sticks that gun in her face, and that bitch pisses herself.
Complete 180.
Woo! I was just kidding.
So yeah, the daughter ghost was. I also thought about how. I talked about the stupid talking point. Like you can't now everybody's trying to politicize everything. I don't think you can politicize this movie yet because I feel like Jennifer Garner. You have a liberal snowflake turned vigilante. Can't root for her, so you like lock her up, and then you have the bad guys as the people that people want to build a wall on. That was a stupid little side comment I thought of myself. I was thinking about during the movie. I was like, can't politicize this. We can't. No political party can claim this movie as theirs because both sides can claim it as theirs. So maybe that was a point. You have like a liberal little snowflake becomes the criminal hero versus the evil foreigners.
She was a vigilante. She was a vigilante in a good way. She was,
and that's where the lock her up mentality kind of was coming into my mind.
They find that she basically stays in Skid Row, and that's why I was like, wow, that would be the great title for this movie, and The Angel from Skid Row, because that's what they call her. Well, her name is Riley North, I think, but they call her the Angel from Skid Row, and they've got a big mural and
Skid Row Angel.
Or Skid Row Angel, that
would have been a way better title. Peppermint made no sense. Skid Row Angel, because when they brought up the Skid Row thing, it made more sense to the movie. It was where she was hiding. It was where the people she was protecting. It just made more sense. You're right. Skid. I wouldn't be surprised if that was probably a working title and they just settled on
Angel from Skid Row.
Yeah. But I guess whenever. Maybe she'll tell us eventually. Let's try to get Jennifer Garner to do an interview with us. What about the director? What
was the other title for this movie? How did you land on Peppermint?
I was thinking Salt Blonde Peppermint. No, but overall, still, it was like the villains in these movies were hardcore. They did the kill scenes were great. You're gonna have a good time with this movie, man. So I feel like
I do feel they should have changed the way they killed the final guy, though. That's my little.
They set it up for a sequel. So there is another final guy. There's another guy out there who's a big, so maybe we'll have a final boss battle. If this movie does well at the box office, we'll see. Hopefully it can.
I think that they didn't spend a huge amount of money on this. So I do think there's room for profit.
Hopefully there's room for. I'm hoping that maybe that this will be one of those surprise hits.
I think the critics are going to destroy this movie.
Critically, yeah, and it deserves it. I'm not gonna lie. In a lot of ways, it deserves the destruction, but it still deserves a cult following. I feel like hopefully, I'm not thinking it's gonna get the Crazy Rich Asians money that's been building and building. I don't think it's gonna be a ride. It needs to hit. And it needs to make a certain amount. Like I think 300. I think 300 million.
I think worldwide, if they pull in worldwide, if million,
I think it'll make a sequel. Yeah, if maybe 250, maybe but 3 more. I think they should do a sequel. I think that would be great. But overall, after that, what do you think? Any other thoughts or anything you want to throw at about your review? Your official thoughts of this movie?
No, like I said before, I was really pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the movie thoroughly. I do think the critics are going to kill it. But hopefully it'll make some money and we'll get a franchise out of this, because I think this is an absolute easy pick for a franchise, guys. Support Jennifer Garner. Peppermint too.
Support Jennifer Garner. She is Skid Row Angel after what she did for her husband, even though when by driving him to the rehab center. Like Jennifer Garner deserves.
Yeah, but you see her chopping him in the neck. Shut up, Ben.
Shut up, Ben. You're going to rehab. You're going. I mean, Ben's girlfriend sitting on the beach tanning, not giving a damn what Ben's going through right now. His estranged wife is bringing him a Bible, taking him to rehab. Jennifer Garner deserves a win right now. So support this movie. You'll have a good time, and you'll be supporting a woman who really deserves it right now. I think she deserves it. So yeah, I agree, man. So I guess, guys, let us know what you guys think. We had a great time. We can't wait to go see the next one. I think the next Press Pass event that we're gonna go check out will be Predator. Yeah, Predator. Yes. And we'll let you know what that is now that we know what embargoes are. So hopefully we'll keep bringing you some good reviews and enjoying ourselves at these movies, because I like going to these movies with Sean and picking his brain and getting his thoughts on these things. So it's a lot of fun. So until next time, guys, like I said, put it in the box. Let us know what you guys think. Comment, questions. Don't forget, any comment questions that we get, we will respond to them on We Got Your Mail. We love doing that. So keep them coming. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and until next time, guys.
Peace.